Hi Kristen, hi Shai. Kumail here from pitch.dog and like super excited to give you guys a handover for this project for first ones and just take you guys through Figma slides. It might seem a little sort of intimidating at first, but it's a lot like Apple Keynote and Google Slides. And Kristen Shai like told us like great things about you and what a quick learner you are. So I'm sure it's going to be like very simple. We also took this time to sort of simplify the deck a bit. We had to strip some pages down and make some like minor changes, but other than that, it's like the original deck. But we've just like simplified the layers, named things better, and have like the entire thing like it's very concrete. I want to take you guys through like every slide and like just so even if there are like certain quotes on certain slides, just get you like a feel of things. We've also made some extra slides, like some template slides with like placeholder text and placeholder images. I'll take you guys through that as well. And so that's like in case you need like a text heavy slide or a slide with like uh, lots of images, an image board, or like text on one side and image on another. So we've done all of that. Um, so let me just get straight to it. When we share sort of the handover, we will share it in like a zip folder where you'll get the font and you will get like the open file. These two you have to import. I'll just show you how to do that quickly. But actually wait, I just before you start anything else, just install these fonts. One, two, three. This is the body font, this is the headline font, and this is the sub-headline font. So right click, open with font book and install. It might ask you to put in your password. I'm not installing it because I have it installed already, and like sometimes when you like reinstall a font which you already have, Figma crashes. So like, but it's like this. Open with font book and install. Which is like a Mac default software, so it should be simple. Once you do that, you have to make an account on Figma. I think most this slide should mostly use like the free features of Figma, so you don't actually have to take a subscription or whatever. In case you do, just let us know and we'll figure like ways around it. In case like there's some feature which is like hidden behind a paywall. Otherwise, I don't think so. You should require like a paid subscription for Figma. Um, when you create an account, log into Figma if you don't have one already, you can use your Google account to sort of create a Figma account as well. You'll be like be greeted with a dashboard similar to this, but I think there might be like a banner here asking to sign in or whatever, asking you to like upgrade to like a paid plan or whatever. Don't do any of that. You can just work on drafts, so like something like this, and you can just work out of drafts. You come here to create one, import, and then you just drag and drop whichever one you need. So I'll just start off with this. You just drag and drop this here, and it's going to sort of import it. I'm canceling it right now, but this, and then you import the other one as well. You can have both of those open, and you can like literally copy paste slides from one template to the next. Essentially, they're made out of the same sort of template, the same colors, the same thing. So it's like quick, easy copy paste. This is the sort of interface you'll be met with. This and or maybe like slightly like this, where like the left bar is missing and the slides are next to each other. So you can always come here, make the sidebar active, and sort of this is the interface. These are your pages. On the left, you can jump, and this is your properties panel, which tells you like what's up, what's happening with this page. Down here is like an important part. The left hand side is like the slides mode, which is like where you do most of your stuff, and on the right is like the design mode. This is where if you click on the design mode, the interface changes ever so slightly, but it gives you access to like the layers panel, which is very important sometimes. And I'll just let me take you like one slide at a time. So I think the default is slides mode. I'll just stick to slide mode for now, unless and until I need to go on the design. So you come here. On the right, you see this. This is the background. So every image, instead of placing the background as a layer, we've used the base of the slide. And instead of giving it like a solo color or whatever, we have just put like a image there. So we made this image in 1920 by 1080, which is full HD. So if you ever have to create like a new background, you can open Photoshop or even Canva or whatever, set the thing to like full HD, the canvas size 1080 by 1920 by 1080, and export it out, and you can just sort of change the back here. So now if you click, if you want to change this particular image, you just click on choose media, and it should open your Finder, and you can just pick another image. That's how it changes it. Going Command Z to undo. You can also drag and drop the image on this media box, and that changes it. You can do this mostly. One of the tricky things about this deck, which hopefully in the future you won't have to deal with, is we wanted to give it this paper sort of tear effect. So if you see here, when you hover over it, it's actually highlighting the sort of bounding box of the paper texture. The paper texture is essentially like an image of a paper tear, which has its background removed. So it's like just the image isolated element, and we have layered the text on top of that. So background, element, and text. That's how this is. So suppose this text increases a lot. I'm just suppose the text was this much. I'll show you how to change the text in a bit, but like suppose the text was this much. Suddenly it's out of the sort of paper texture. So you'll have to select the paper texture. When you click on it, this is the bounding image, and you have to like drag it out so it covers the whole thing. But sometimes when you drag it out, this is like a really high-res image, which is why when you do this, it sort of starts lagging on my system, even though it's like a fast system. Sometimes, but when you drag it out, you sort of start losing the bottom edge. So you have to drag it out and place it. So something like that. And that's how you do it. You can use a mouse wheel to zoom in and out of the canvas, and Command 0 to sort of get like fit to 100%. We've also, I'll just undo like this as well. We've also like worked like on a like really nice grid system, like a 4-pixel grid system. So if you hit Shift and G, the grids go on. I don't think so you'll ever have to use this, but just in case. So this was this slide. This was the background. This was the text. To edit the text, just like tap into it till you see the text being highlighted. Bolding and like your basic formatting also works. So Command D is bold, Command I is italicizing it, and yeah, and just sort of type of it. That's like your basic text box. If just like showing you behind the scene, if you click on the sort of design mode, you can see that the entire text lives within like its own layer, where this is the body layer. So like, as you see, this is the body font, so everything stays here. And yeah, I think only the body font is used here. On a slide where other fonts are used as well, I will like show you how to this might be a better sort of example there. Okay, moving on, we have the second slide. In the second slide, okay, see here how sort of the background is showing blank. So if you come on the layers panel, then this like on the design sort of mode, it shows you more things here. So the reason the background is showing blank in the slides mode is because this slide is slightly more complicated. It has this filter on top of things, like this texture on top, and this was the image below it. So if you have to change the image, and this eye sort of toggles visibility, it turns it on. So if you want to change this image, you'll actually have to drop it on this in the design mode on the second one, right? As such. You can turn on the filter and off. This is how it goes. So just undo that. This is the background. these are two separate sort of elements for the paper texture. And here I think, yeah, here in the layers panel, you can see that the head is its own layer and the subhead and the body are their own layer. So in case you want to copy this, duplicate it, or you want to just get rid of the subheadline, you can toggle the visibility off here. The layers are set to a thing called auto layout, which basically controls the flow of elements within its own group. So just by switching off the subheadline, the body copy will jump up to take that space. And the advantage to that is it's complicated. I'm just telling you the backend, but like it's set automatically, so it's very good for you. Like for example, if the subheadline was longer, the body copy pushes down without being chopped or cut. So that's sort of the advantage of it. So this is the layer element head here thing, and this is sort of the structure of this one. In case you wanted to change the color of the text, you're not liking how this is looking, you can click on this. Let me go back to slide mode where like I would prefer you guys work. It has like, so let's select the text. It says color 30. All the colors we've used in this deck are here. So you can just change it instantly, and yeah, voila, it's like a brown. I'm doing that. This is the next slide. This is a headline. This is two body text, and the background again is an image. So you can't change it here because like it has an overlay. Again, you come to the design mode. You can turn off the overlay, and then the image you can change. Suppose you don't want the image, you can turn that off. So this becomes, and then you can turn on the sort of textured layer because then it gives like the paper feel to the background. This is how it looks. Suppose you want to center these two, you go. What I would do is, I would go Shift G so I can see the grid. I would hold these two, Shift and hold these two, and I would like move them. Sorry, flagging a bit. Move them to the center. Or you can always group them, and then I'll show you how to center it from here. You can group selection with Command G, and then the selection can be center. And then same with this. You hold this and you center. So this is like another way. Again, undoing that, getting the image back as well. And the texture. Shift G to remove that bit. This is the next slide. This one, each of these is like a small component, like a group of images and text and headlines. This, of course, this is the paper texture element, and this is this thing. And to turn this around, like because we rotated it, if you go to the right bounding box or like one of these bounding boxes, it turns into this, and then you can just rotate it. And if you hold Shift, I think it goes in degrees of like 15. If you see here, you can't edit the paper texture here. Okay, sometimes when that happens, you can scroll here and you'll see in your layers panel. So you have to go to design mode, and in your layers panel, you'll see that this image, this 18.1, is locked. We lock it sometimes because you have to work with like a bunch of things, and the bounding box is so big that it falls on other elements. So each time I was trying to select this was being selected. So which is why we kind of locked it here. But just in case you need to sort of change it around, you can unlock it, and that's how you sort of, then now you can move it around. Locking it again. Now these elements, in case you need to edit any of them or delete a character. Deleting a character is simple. You select the whole thing and you just backspace or delete that. There it goes. Commanding that. To change the image, you just tap till you see this image here, and then you can just drag and drop your image. There it changes that. Same with this, tap. Often, like because things are grouped, it doesn't let you select the text directly. So multiply clicking onto it, I think it's 3 clicks, but like I just do it like frantically and just get to it. This is the way we do it. If you select the last word and paste it, this one starts chopping off. So some places like we've made it such that as the text increases, the background also increases and everything resizes. But in this case, we couldn't do that because this was like a really tight grid and everyone we wanted to keep uniform. So we sort of work with the text of things so that they maintain like a kind of size. So it's always under 3 lines. That's one of the problems in this sort of page you might meet. Uh, Next up is this similar layout. This is the paper element, text, and these images can be changed here. Next up, this one, very like again, it's like the same thing. Images here in a grid. Suppose you put an image here, and you see it. Okay, I placed it wrong. Instead of placing it over here, good mistake happens. You can see I placed it directly here. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. It's kind of finicky. So you just drop it in its container, and there you change it. Sometimes when you place the image there, it acts kind of weird. It gets stretched out, and so you can. So this is where you come, and you go fit. Fit means that take the default ratio, the default dimensions and ratio of the image, and like constrain it within the bounding box you've given it. And fill means like you proportionately scale it to fill the text, but to fill the box, but it chops off the edges. Sometimes sometimes it gets funky, and then like you can't see it properly, and it gets stretched. You can also use crop to sort of shift and moving it down to sort of get like a different focal point of the image. So that's another thing. Just moving that, Command Z. Yeah. You want to delete an image, just select it and delete. You want to resize an image, select it and stretch it out to resize. It has great like magnetic properties. So when I'm resizing it, it's going to stick to things if things are relevant. So like when I'm resizing it to the right, if you can see, it creates this like line running on the right edge, which means like, hey, this image is as big as the one on top. And if you open the grid, you can see that both of them are aligned to the margin of the slide. So that's that. What else? Yeah, and this is like another box if you sort of give it. You can delete it. You can like a footer box. So you can delete the whole thing, or you can hide it by turning on and off the visibility, or you can change the text. Nothing special in this slide. The background is again, you'll find it in the design mode here. It has some hidden backgrounds as well, because I think we wanted to give Shy a bunch of options, and then he picked that one. So there was this, and they're all like sort of stacked on top of each other. But yeah, this is the one which we went with. And same here. The cards are similar. If you just tap, you can get the person, change the image. So in design mode, this is sort of where you're seeing the image. In slide mode, the image is like front and center here. This is the image. This is another sort of element which is added. You can move it around, place it anywhere. Same here, same here. So I'll just skip these pages. These pages, all of these elements have been grouped and like they're placed in like a scattershot way. You can entirely just pick them up and drag them around and delete them. You can duplicate them as well. So I pressed Alt and I dragged it away, like how in most design software, and that creates like a duplicate. Or you could just click on the sort of element, Command C, Command V, and that there. Then the next one is where we are headed. In this one, suppose things get tick marked, you can obviously cut it from here, like Command exit from here, go back here and paste it and then move things around. Or let me get back. Yeah. With the tick mark, we have essentially what we've done is we have graded out by lowering the opacity of the SVG, like of the image of the tick mark. So when you just tap into the tick mark, suppose we've leveraged the authentic Baltimore connection. So you tap here. It's showing you the color here. You drop this down and you just select the green color, and that it's like a tick mark. Command Z in it. Suppose you wanted it to go back to like it's not done. So you drop this, and this is the one which is like the faded. It's already set in one of the styles. That's another way of getting it. Moving on. This originally, if you remember, it used to be a pie chart, but that's like super annoying to edit. It's like super annoying to edit. It's not native to Framer. We have to recreate it each time there was a change, and it takes a lot of time. So we've created this table now. This table again has like that auto layout feature. So you can just tap, change this, and it sort of edits it. You can click here on the table. When you click here, if you think both of the elements are selected, if you hit delete, it deletes it. Also the table auto sizes. Suppose you want to add a new one, you click here, Command C, click, I copy the table. With the element selected, with both of them selected at the same time, you can Command C, Command V, and that adds like a new one, and then you can change it around. This is one way to do it. We've given like some corner radius here. It looks better. This is a table we made for the thing, for the budget page. Again, like a simple slide where the elements are all, you can move them around. We've used the scatter sort thing again. Oh yeah, one more thing. See, when I'm moving this element here, it's going behind the paper texture, which is how we want it. But if I hold Command and open parenthesis, square bracket, and like, it goes on top, and Command and open takes it behind, and Command close takes it forward. So you can like sort of layer things just in case of the done. This page is like a background image. This is the background image with the boys. This is like a paper element, and sorry, I'm rambling on, and just like it's a bunch of things, and I obviously will be here like anytime you need any help, even at a moment's notice, we are there. But just in case like there's something which you need in a pinch, like I just want you guys to have this. Same here, simple layout. And lastly, this is to give it a URL. You can just select the text and right click. I will not click. Okay. I will email you guys this for whatever reason is broken right now. So this is about it. This is how sort of the pages are. If you need to add a page, you can Command D. And once a page is selected, not an element, once the page is selected, Command D to sort of duplicate it, and you can move things around like how you would in PowerPoint, Google Slides, or Apple Keynote. To export this as a PDF, you come here, File, by Export Slides to, and then you get like, you don't take PPT, you take PDF. We've worked in the sRGB color space, so it's going to remain sRGB, and it's quite high res, so you can actually go low, and that should sort of solve things, and all slides. So this was sort of the base deck. I close this and I'll come to the extras. The extras are essentially like we've created this grid for you where you can place all these images. You can delete images as well, and like create new layout by sort of drag this here. Lagging. I think because I'm screen recording is lagging. I don't know why that's happening. let me here and delete this. So this is like a layout. In this one, we've given a paper texture here, an image here, which is below the paper element, and text here. We just filled it with like Lorem Ipsum. We placed in the same but reverse. So the text is on the right and the images are here. This is like a super text heavy slide where you can divide the text in 3 parts or 2 parts and an image, or 2 parts on either side and the image in the middle, or like the image to the left and text 2 columns, right? Same here. This is like a header, subheader, and image, and finally like image as a background. The back, you'll have to go to the design mode again and change this image here, and you have this. And you can always change the color. You can select all of these and go on slide mode again. It's showing what colors are selected. But if you don't want these, you can go like this, and that's it. Simple. More or less. Oh yeah. So suppose you create a slide here. You just click this, copy, and you go to your this thing, and you just paste it between 2 pages. So suppose I wanted to just click between 2 pages, and you paste it, and it's going to create a new page. So that's how you do it. I guess that's about it. Genuinely, if there are any questions, or if I explained something badly, or if there's like a sort of edge case which I missed, just ask. It's very easy and it's very intuitive, and I think they've made it quite like intuitive, and you can just toy around with it. Hopefully this was helpful. One more thing. Each time I make like a big change, what I do is I duplicate my file. Like I just duplicate it. So I always have a backup of like the previous version, because this doesn't have good version history. It has this, but it's not that nice. So I would maybe duplicate it, maybe export it out. So you always have that. I think aside from that, there should be nothing else. But if there is, please let me know. We're so glad that it got into that accelerator. The project, the person got into that accelerator, and we can't wait to see it on screen. It's super wild and it seems fun. Okay. Thank you guys. Sorry this took a while. See you.